Hi, mga mare, mga besh, mga kapatid, from here in the Philippines and around the world. Magandang umaga, magandang gabi, at magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. Thank you for joining our YouTube Live today. This is our episode 1 of the new format of Salve's YouTube channel live every Saturday po ng alas 8 ng gabi. In 30 minutes, we hope to provide you with inspiration, knowledge, and actionable points, and a long 10-minute question and answer with the experts in our panel. Ako po si Salve Duplito. Maraming salamat po. Ako po ay isang financial advisor and TV host and writer. Pero ang tawag po nila sa akin ay financial beshi ng bayan dahil excited po akong magpakalat ng lahat ng impormasyon kung paano lahat ng Pilipino ay magiging mayaman. Okay, kung gusto niyo pong malaman bakit ko po ito ginagawa, you can check all the other YouTube videos in our channel at ang Facebook page at ang IG. Pwede nyo rin po tayong i-follow sa Kumu, and we're just giving information and stories of inspiration to everyone. Today po, sobrang special because hindi lang Happy Chinese New Year, Valentine's Day din bukas, and I have 3 very special guests that I want to introduce to you. So, ang unang-unang guest ko is a lady that I met, naku, hindi ko na alam, 20 years ago na ba or 15 years ago. I was then an editor of Inquirer.net, and I started this blog on personal finance. Ang tawag sa kanya, Money Story. So, alam niyo na po, matanda na ang tita nyo kasi nung time na yon wala pang nagbablog na po tayo. INQ7 pa lang kami noon, tapos naging Inquirer.net. And then I remember that moment where I said, I really want to make a difference in the life of people, at kailangan, gusto ko talagang may transformation na mangyayari. So ang nangyari, naglagay ako ng ad or parang note lang dun sa Inquirer, and this lady was one of the first who responded, and I asked her to come see me, and that's where our friendship began. But bago ko siya tawagin, Dino Duterte says hi, and Tita Dali says good evening. Gilda Aquino says good evening. Maraming salamat po. Marami po tayong viewers na nanonood ngayon. Charmcast, Des Atienza, OFW Entrepreneurs, Glesh from Naga, Kamsur, and marami pang pong iba na hindi ko po nababasa dahil matanda na po tayo. And also on Kumu, we're also live on Kumu and Facebook also. Okay, alright, meron pa akong 2 minutes. Ito po na po talaga para sa YouTube, pabilisan magsalita. Ayan. Arnie Garcia Solis. And then we have Andrew Stotts from Bangkok. He's in the stream, excited to listen in. Also, dito po ako magbabasa sa screen ko. Okay. Alright. Anyway, I'll go back to, ayan, Paulo Fernando, I saw you. You said, hello, good day, Estrabo. Thank you so much. I would like, yes, Paul, first, good evening, Ms. Salvi. Paul Cairo Buesar. Ayan, parang from everywhere. Pakilagay nga yung location nyo para makita natin kung nasaan kayo. I'll go back to your comments in a while. I would just like to bring in Melissa Briones.
Hi!
Melissa! Oh
Hi!
my gosh, thank you for coming here to our stream! Mga friends, mga best reunion po naming dalawa to kasi matagal na po kami hindi nagkikita. Lagi lang kami I miss you sa
That's
sa
right.
ano sa sa messenger. So I would like you to meet one of the most inspiring transformation stories that I've known in my entire life. So I told them, Mel, about how we met
Right.
many years ago. And then we had several mentoring sessions. And your financial advisor at that time was?
Joe Ferreria. Of course.
Yes. Okay, si Karen Joe. And
Diba?
then we developed that into a friendship. Tell me about the biggest lesson in your life when it comes to financial literacy. How did your life change when you first started realizing na there are some things that might be difficult to do, but kaya ko pala?
When I reached out to you, I just graduated from law school. And I had, I was married, I had a kid. Tapos, pero parang ano yun, paycheck to paycheck existence. It's like, oh, there has to be something out there that's different. So when you came into our lives, when Joe came into our lives, ang ginawa niya, medyo may pagka-psychology ng konti. Kasi he got into the bottom of why I had my money relationship that way. So parang sinabi niya, okay, it's because of yung family mo. So merong bondage. Meron akong hindi ko maintindihan. That's why I couldn't get out of that, what the so-called rat race. Tapos, because of Joe, he was the one who called the bank. Sabi sa bangko, oy, mag-set up ng account yung kaibigan ko. Vice president. But it started everything. Ang pinaka-greatest lesson ko, talagang education. Because of you, we got really into the habit of financial planning. Tapos naging registered financial planner pa nga ako, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
Really down that road. Kasi it's only with understanding. It's a long road eh. Yung pera kasi, it's a concept. Pero ang very strong yung reaction natin sa kanya, very emotional. So when you get that out of the process, parang mas it's something that can be handled. So that's what you taught me, that I have a relationship with money. It can be changed, and it doesn't have to have hindi ko siya dapat seryosohin, pero there's a lot of it out there, and there's a lot of it out there for all of us, and financial freedom is something that can be had by anyone. Yun.
Yes. At nakita ko talaga yun sa buhay mo. You're now a successful ba tayo, best? Successful barrister, solicitor based in Vancouver. Of course, that shift also, naalala ko yung pinag-usapan pa natin nun, yung migrating, tapos yung mga financial issues that come with it. And I'm sure, Mel, life was difficult at some points and also great at some points. But tell us about your situation now. Tell us about what you're doing. Ang dami-dami mong ginagawa, nakikita ko sa Facebook.
Babaeng walang pahinga.
Exactly. Gandang pahinga. Gandang walang pahinga ang tawag dyan.
Yeah, when we came here, it was difficult because akala ko kasi dahil lawyer ako, madali ako makakuha ng trabaho. But no one would give me the time of day, kahit paralegal, legal assistant. No one would hire me. So ang naging salvation ko, education. Parang marami nagsasabi palasak na ang education, alam mo na natin yun. But no, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And it's what saved me. So I got into this human resources course. It was a scholarship that I obtained. Tapos after that course, naging human resources manager ako. So parang it's a door that would not be opened for me. Pero napasok ko yan dahil nag-aral ako. kasi importante dito sa Canada, it's a certification country. It's a country na mahalaga sa kanya ang diploma at ang certificate. So I had to, when in Rome, do what the Romans.
Yes. Yes.
So
Kumuha
when
ka ng maraming certification, I can imagine.
Yeah. So when I got that certification, nakapasok na ako sa isang kumpanya who supported me through hindi naman law school, because I was challenging my exams. I challenged 8 exams and I had to article and I had their support. And now I'm a lawyer here in Vancouver, British Columbia. So parang yun talaga yun, yung it's that mentality na talagang you have to have one foot in front of the other, just keep going. Otherwise, when pag inisip mo na lang yung situation mo, mag-rage ka, you feel impotent. Hindi, you just move forward.
Sige lang, just show up and move, ganon.
And learn what you can, because that's really, I think, what we're here for. It's you learn.
Wow, grabe. That's so beautiful, Mel. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We'll bring you back later in the Q&A segment so that other people out there who want to know what they can do to be also in your shoes can also ask you questions. Thank you so much, Mel. We'll see you later. I'll invite you to listen in to my conversation with my next guest. And talagang tuhog kasi what Mel said earlier is also key in why she decided to write her second book. Sabi ni Mel kanina, until she found out that personality issues, psychology issues, until she found out what those were, kahit na marami naman siyang alam, wala talagang mangyayari. So, I would like to introduce everyone to my peg in life, Rose Fausto. Girl, come out na. Yes, hi Rose. Thank you for spending this. Good evening din. Happy Chinese New Year. O, di ba nakita mo lahat tayo nakakita today. Hindi ko alam paano i-pronounce yan. Ayokong i-murder. Baka patayin ako ng mga Chinese friends ko. So, pinakinggan nga kita nung nag-greet kayo ni Mimi when you were guested in ANC to talk about your book. Oo, pero in fairness, nauna kitang imbitahin. Hi, Mimi, I love you. Okay, so friends, hindi ko na patatagalin. Rose Fausto is one of the women that I look up to in the field of financial literacy, financial education, investment banker pa yan, pero most of all, in the way that she's a powerful and empowering mother to her 3 boys and 1 husband. Kasi lagi kong sinasabi, she has 4 boyfriends Lagi kong sinasabi yon. And really, in that space, you won't find any other person in the country like Rose. I've learned a lot from her, read her books. Isa-isa ko talaga yan. But why she's here is because she has written another blockbuster. At ito, natutuwa talaga ako kasi when I read it, nakalagay doon, why financial literacy alone will not fix your financial problems. Tell us, Rose, about this because your book is already out in the stores now. They can already buy it. Saan nga ba nila pwedeng bilhin? And then tell us about why you wrote it.
Available on Lazada. And also, if you want your copies with autograph, sa fqmom.com, just click books. Ayan
Okay.
sila!
Ayan yung kanyang mga new anaks. Pero Rose, sabi ko sa'yo, when people kasi listen to behavioral finance, it's really very technical. There are a lot of jargon, lots of terms. And sometimes, even if you're a financial advisor na nga, you have to read and reread. So sabi ko sa'yo, if you were to make a meme about your book, anong itsura ng meme na yon? Ilabas ba natin? Meron po
natin kasi ang meme is better appreciated when it's visual.
Right.
Let's go!
Yes! Okay, labas natin. Ayan. Explain mo yan.
So, if you can see, the person is, yung sa blue bubble niya, iniisip na niya yung saving and investing. However, that's his prefrontal cortex, which is being activated. It's the rational part of the brain. However, when there's a sale, it's the primitive limbic or emotional brain that motivates his behavior. And that is why, that is the purpose of this book, it tells us that financial education alone is not enough because we might know everything about inflation rate, returns, etc., etc. But what really drives our behavior is our emotional brain. Kaya ang meme natin, sabay natin kayang basahin ito, no?
Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? Parang kanta yan nung kabataan natin, di ba? Pero
Naisip
di ko
natin,
magawa. Gusto kong
gets ko na,
tumambling,
pero di ko magawa.
pero di ko magawa. Tama, ang saya-saya niyan. So parang Rose, ang sinasabi mo talaga, pwedeng marami ka ng kaalaman, pero ang kalaban mo talaga pala yung sarili mo.
Yes.
Kasi kung hindi mo alam that your brain works this way, ikaw talaga yung pinakang danger to your financial happiness. Ganun pala yun.
Correct. That is so correct. Para bang, alam mo yon yung feeling natin kasi, turuan mo yan. Tapos, gagawin na niya yung tama
Okay na
para
siya.
sa kanya. I hope it were that simple. Unfortunately, it's not. And it's because of the way we are wired. And the more we know of how we really behave when it comes to money, relationships, and other important aspects of life, the better we can protect ourselves from ourselves.
Rose, meron kang sinabi very quickly, meron kang sinabi dun sa libro mo na connected sa love.
Yes.
Because you know, Valentine's Day bukas. And it really struck me, sabi mo doon, yung pag nagkaroon ka ng negative experience with your partner na isa, kailangan ma-counter yon ng 5 positive experience.
Yeah. Alam mo, siguro maganda umpisahan natin with the mother of all the behavioral economics principle, which is the loss aversion. What does this mean? It just means that the impact of a loss, we feel that twice as much as the impact of a gain. That's why ang konti lang po.
Financial.
Ha?
Kung financial. Pero kung love, sabi mo, mas malala.
Oh, yun nga eh. So, inuumpisahan ko siya dun sa twice as much, di ba? And then, meron tayong mga the Gottman couple, mga experts sila in relationship. Sabi nila, it's even worse when it comes to successful marriages. Yung isang kainisan nyo, dapat may katapat na 5 lovey-dovey or positive encounters. O, di ba? It really gets worse. Sabi ko nga eh, in the book, pati nga si Jesus, di ba? Nawawala yung isang tupa niya, iniwan na yung 99.
Loss aversion sa malala. Malala.
Diba?
Ang winner na loss aversion si Jesus Christ.
Ang saya. Balikan natin yung 5:1, di ba? So, since it's Valentine's Day today, isipin natin yan. So, bawat isang mali mo, dapat meron kang 5 na okay. And nakakatawa kayo tanong mo sa akin eh, ano ba mga experience nyo? Alam mo, nahirapan ako mag-isip kung ano yung example na pwede kong i-share. And I just got to the conclusion na it's just like money. Siguro si Marvin, sang katutak na yung emergency fund niya na napundar. Lagpas na siya sa 5:1. Kaya napagbibigyan mo na kung naiinis ka. And I would like to hope that it's the same for him.
For
when
all
it comes to my mind.
yeah. Alright. Bago ako pumunta, magpapasalamat muna ako sa iyo, Rose, and then we'll bring you back in our last segment because I'm sure, Jay Tolentino says behavioral finance is such a fun topic to talk about. Kasi nga, it's new. A lot of people don't know about it. And alam mo yung parang nakaka-excite na, ooh, this is how my brain works. Wala. Guys, finding more about yourself. Sana next daw. Okay. So thank you so much, Rose, for sharing. Bitin na bitin ako. Sana we can have you again soon. Napakaraming pwedeng matutunan. Kasi ako nga, kakatapos ko lang yung libro niya before this, the first in the trilogy. Para ang tagal bago ako nakarating dun kasi nire-review ko pa yung security analysis. Alam mo naman, girl, kung gaano kahirap basahin ang security analysis. So, tapos meron na siya ulit bagong libro. Thank you so much, girl. Beautiful, gorgeous girl. We'll bring you back in the last segment. And then I will introduce to you our next guest. But before that, magpapasalamat lang po ako. MJ from London, you're here. And then, oh yes, Andrew again, I hope you're still here. I would like to tell everyone, Aris, Baloran, Gemma, Velasquez Akibay, and Noemi, Barte, maraming salamat po sa, sorry, matanda na talaga. Bulata. Hi to little girl on Kumu. Little girl with curls. I was just chatting with them last night. Ayan. Tapos sabi, invited them to the stream. Sabi nila manonood daw sila today. Jay Tolentino, maraming salamat. Romel Del Pilar, pa-shout out daw po. Ito, shout out. Ganun. Okay. Tapos, really, I'm very excited. Please type in your questions because you will have a chance to ask from Melissa, from Rose, and our next guest. Gusto na ko na pong ipasok siya kasi excited ako. Our next guest will talk about where you can put your money in 2021 and a hot stock that I'm sure everybody's waiting to know more about. So Fritz Ocampo, please come in to our stream. Maraming salamat for joining us tonight. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Hello.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy New
Kung may
Year.
passion.
Oo nga. Okay, so Fritz Ocampo po is the Chief Investment Officer at BDO, in charge of one of the biggest funds. One of the biggest, ba? O biggest?
The biggest.
The biggest. Sorry, taray natin, di ba? Siyempre, the biggest funds in the Philippines. And so when it comes to investments, makikikulit talaga tayo sa kanila. Okay, may makikikulit po tayo sa kanya dahil syempre laging nakatutok ang mukha niya sa lahat ng Bloomberg screen ba yan? At lahat ng decision siya talaga ang nagde-decide niyan. So, Fritz, hindi na ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. Saan pwedeng ilagay ng ating mga viewers ang kanilang milyones at bilyones ngayong 2021?
Okay. So, gaya ng sabi ng unang dalawang mga babae, no? Each one of us can always invest. Huwag natin isipin na pangmayaman lang yan. So, let's start off with the outlook. So, 2020 was a really terrible year. Globally, we went through a global recession. And in the Philippines, at minus 9.5% GDP, that was our worst since the Second World War. Pareho naman tayo hindi pa buhay nung Second World War. So, hindi natin alam yun. No? But clearly, clearly, it was really bad. So, this year, we're all looking for a global recovery. No? And the Philippines will also bounce back from the minus 9.5. We're looking at a 6% GDP growth positive
for this year.
For the Philippines for 2021. But the bad news for investors is interest rates, which fell to historical lows in 2020 as central banks cut interest rates, no, will remain low for a while until the world recovers from this global recession. So even in the Philippines, while inflation, as we saw in January, started moving up already at 4.2, we're forecasting 3.8. So interest rates will move up a bit. But when you look at the time deposit rate, which is now at 0.38%, no? So maybe you move up a bit, will move up towards what? Less than 1% pa rin. Lugi. I mean, even globally, hindi lang naman sa Pilipinas. Maski sa ang bansa, no? Ganon kababa. And that's why investors are looking for assets to buy, no? You try to store value by buying assets. Okay?
Ano yung bibili natin?
Anong pwede natin bilhin, no? So, pag ganitong kababa, what assets do you buy, no? Globally, stock markets have started to go up, no? After falling by more than 20% in March of last year, global equity markets or stock markets are up. Direct, pakita natin yung next slide, no? So,
oo nga. Grabe yung stock market, lalo na overseas. Fritz, grabe.
yes.
Tingnan mo naman yung returns na yan.
On the left chart, no, when you look at the last 5 years, even with the pullback in March of last year, as economies went on lockdown, naka-recover pa rin, no? And what's very significant here is investors are looking for growth. Ang hinahanap nila, yung mga bansa at mga kumpanya na patuloy na lalago or uunlad, no? And then yung sa right side, yung sa kanan, January of this year, tingnan mo,
Isang buwan pa lang.
isang buwan pa lang, North Asian stock markets have already soared, no?
Wow.
And that shows you na yung pera naghahanap ng bahay na mapupuntahan, no? Because
Ang ganda ng
interest
analogy.
rates are low. Yes.
Pero
sa
kawawa
Pilipinas-
yung Pilipinas.
Yes. So sa Pilipinas medyo nahuhuli tayo, no? Direct, next slide please. In the next slide, pati sa Pilipinas, no? Yung retail investors, individuals like you and I, Salve, nagsa-stocks na rin, no? On the
Oo
left
nga.
here, for the first time, ang number
Nagpapagalaw na.
number one broker last year, local, yung Call Financial, no? And three local
Dati
brokers,
laging foreign, no? Dati
Lagi,
kasi
the
used to
top
work
10.
for foreign brokerages, di ba?
laging foreign yan, no? But here you see the
Galing,
tatlong local, no? Aside from Call Financial, BDO Securities at BPI Securities, nasa top 10 rin. That shows you that the local Filipino, nagsa-stocks na rin. Nag-online siguro, trading sila.
Oo.
And again,
Oo nga.
on the right side, makikita mo yung mga binibili ng retail investors, no? Except for BDO and SM Prime, madami dyan speculative, no? Yung
Yung
tinatawag na
unang-una mo nga eh.
Diba?
Imagine from piso tapos naging 19 pesos in less than 12 months. Di ba?
Yes. Siyempre, pag nakatikim ng victory, lalong lumalakas yung loob. Nagdo-double up, no?
Pero
and
nakakatakot
that's why-
yun yata, Fritz. Ano sa tingin mo?
Sorry, again?
Parang nakakatakot mag-speculate, di ba? Pero ang sarap kasi, yung parang possibility that you can grow your money that fast. Kaya ang
Yes.
susunod na segment natin, sa hot stock segment, alin yung stock na pipiliin ni Fritz na i-discuss ngayong gabi? Okay, pwede nyo bang lahat ng nasa Kumu, Facebook, YouTube, pakitype nga sa comment section kung ano yung wish nyo na i-discuss ni Fritz ngayong gabi. Pero actually, pinag-usapan na namin to. Ano yung hot stock segment natin ngayong gabi? Sige nga, pakitype nga po. Sana makita ko yung mga comments ninyo sa comment section sa YouTube, Facebook, ano pa? Kumu Live. I want to see all the stocks that you want to talk about. I will give you 30 seconds. Fritz, handa na natin ang next slide mo because you're going to talk about a particular stock na for me, it was very, Bitcoin daw. Iba rin, Henry. Pwede rin natin pag-usapan yan, pero ayan, dito. Sabi ko na dito daw. Tapos siguro may mga, feeling daw nila dito. Ayan. Kasi nga, APL daw. Ayan, nakikita nyo ba mga friends kung ano yung mga favorite nila na pag-usapan. Pero this stock, hindi naman sa ginagaya ko si Mimi, kasi ilalabas naman talaga natin kung ano tong hot stock na to. Tawang-tawa ako kasi it's a service provider, no, ng connectivity. Tapos nung isang araw yata yun na sobrang ang tawag nito, nagrereklamo yung mga tao dahil bakit ganito yung connectivity, bakit ang bagal? Jollibee, talagang hindi tayo maka-get over sa sa fried chicken, bakit daw ang bagal ng internet? Alam mo yung mga Pilipino kung saan pumunta sa Facebook page ng isang metal na band in Boston yata yun. Talagang binugbog nila ng mga reklamo yung banda yun. Ayan. So, ang Converge po pala ay isang banda at binugbog yan ng mga Pilipino na reklamo kung bakit mabagal ang internet nila so much so that they had to tell their viewers na we're still a rock band. We're not providing internet connection in the Philippines, but while you're in our page, you might also buy our music. So, Fritz, talk about your hot stock. Bakit Converge?
Okay. So I showed you the slide earlier na yan nga, yung mga retail investors kung ano-anong pinapasukan, and I saw also the feedback, no, from the page. So I'm not a broker, no, but let me talk about Converge, no, because the story is quite simple, no. Number one, because of the pandemic, the spread of COVID-19, there has been a heightened need for fixed broadband access to do shows like this, to do online learning, to do work from home. And this is a global trend, especially here in the Asia Pacific region. And Converge is one of the fastest growing companies in the broadband space in Asia Pac. No? Converge subscriber base grew by 7 times from just 74,000 in 2016 to more than 530,000 in 2019. Third, subscriber base moving forward, kasi tapos na yan historical na yan, moving forward is expected to grow fourfold, no? 4 times to about 2.1 million by next year. That's 2022. No? Next, home broadband penetration could double to 43% from 2019 levels to 2022. How? Paano? Kasi lahat nga tayo kailangan natin ng fixed broadband, no? And even the two market leaders during the last 2 years have been showing growth rates of about 20% already. Okay? This is driven, ayan, sinabi nga nyo nga dito, no? Converge. So more supply in the market will allow the market to grow even faster. No? So the demand is growing because of work from home and online learning, but the supply now of Converge and Dito will even accelerate the pie from expanding even faster, about 43% penetration rate. Nag-IPO ito last year, if you recall. No?
Bago-bago lang, yes.
Yan, last year at around 1680, something like that. This week, it soared above 18. It pulled back by end of the week. It's consolidating at 18. When you look at the brokers that have started to cover it, the target price is around 20 to 25 pesos. And therefore, you're looking at an upside of 25 to 35%. For a company,
Nice.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, Fritz, very quick question before we go to our Q&A with all our viewers. Kaya po, lahat po ng gustong magtanong, pakitype na po yung mga questions nyo. Kung gusto nyong mauna kayong sagutin ni Fritz, ni Rose, at ni Melissa. Pero ako na muna mauna kasi, ako yung host niya. Ay, Fritz, paano yung pagpasok ng dito? Hindi ba siya affected? Gusto niya yata parang 15 million households ang tinatarget ng Converge, but we're also looking at the third, ang pagpasok ng dito supposedly this March, di ba? How is Converge going to be affected by the changes in the entire industry this year?
Okay. So dito, as you mentioned, is about to enter the market in March. Converge has already entered, and it's so appropriate that in the midst of the spread of COVID, you can get a Converge plan without going to a Converge office. It's all digital driven. Even the application form and your IDs and your proof of residence, you upload or download using the app, and even your billing, no, is sent to you via the digital platform. And so this is something that's already here. The growth is spectacular, and the service is really strong. Unfortunately, because demand has surged, no,
Yeah.
all the players are just swamped with increased demand. no?
Oo,
And,
totoo.
and that's why they have to expand faster than the number of subscribers entering their platform.
How about Smart and Globe? Are they, you know,
Smart and Globe are also riding on it, but of course they're also in the fixed line, they're also in the wireless, no? They're in the tech space. Converge is a pure play in the biggest growth story ever
mm.
since we started getting our cell phones, and that's broadband and data.
Hay, naku, Fritz, alam mo ba, ng kahapon lang yata yun, nag-Kumu ako, nag-live din ako, tapos nahirapan talaga ako sa internet ko. So, ang punto lang talaga, you're right. This is now the new normal. Hopefully, it's going to be a better normal if we have better providers, di ba? Kasi hindi na talaga tayo madi-divorce from the internet and needing broadband and better connectivity. More fiber optic lines and all of those things. So thank you for your hot stuff. Maraming salamat. We're now going to hello to Yellow for Biofam. Thank you for watching our stream today. Becca, magpadala po kayo kay Fritz ng paletsyon para sagutin niyo yung mga tanong. Alam mo ba yun, Fritz, sa Kumu, people send the different kinds of virtual gifts, including lechon. So, syempre ako, lechon ng lechon kasi Chinese New Year ngayon. Kailangan natin
Bakit hindi ka pa tumataba, Salve?
tumaba na ako. Ang gulo lang. Ang gulo lang yan.
Angle.
Ano. Ikaw ang expert dyan. Kasi alam niyo po ba, para sa mga viewers natin ngayon, Fritz is like this guy who knows a lot about investments. Puro numero laman ang utak niyan. Pero pag a-attend siya at ini-invite namin siya sa ANC on the money, ang galing-galing niya mag-produce. Minsan tinutulungan niya pa ako sa flow. Sabihin natin ganito.
Pinapakialaman lahat.
I love it. Ang dami niyang talents. So now, I would like to bring in Melissa. And Melissa, hi! You're back. And Rose, lahat po kami nakapula because happy Chinese New Year. Maraming salamat. So, first question comes from Aries. At I think even Rose and Fritz can answer this also, being two people in the corporate field and marami na silang pinagdaan ng mga career options at mga career decisions. But Melissa, I think, is the primary person who can really answer this question from Aris. Quick background: Aris is a jardinero based in Italy. He was one of ayan, he was one of the people I featured in my YouTube channel na jardinero to millionario. And you know what? Fritz, Rose, even his youngest son is already investing now in
Very
the
good.
Philippines.
Okay.
In the Philippines. So, Mel, ang question ni Aris, how to stand out overseas?
If there's something to be understood about Canada, ang Canada kasi hindi siya materialistic na country. So iba yung approach mo. So people here, nature loving kami. Tapos wala ka makikitang billboard, zero. So parang yung sasagutin ko yung tanong mo in another way, how to stand out. So you have to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do. That's one. I'll give you an example. For example, last year during the coronavirus, syempre, I had my own law firm. Tapos iniisip ko, oh my God, everything is plummeting. Of course, the income, parang zero. Parang, oh, what's gonna happen in the future? So what I did is I took the phone book. I called the Filipino realtors there, and I introduced myself to them. I said, oh, hi, I'm a Filipino lawyer, and I'm practicing real estate law. So alam mo yun, yung things that I didn't think that I would do, that my pride would allow me to do, I did. Because I
Galing.
and you know, yung mga tinawagan ko na yun, they gave me clients over and
Wow.
over again. So parang yung isa, meron siyang 30 clients na binigay sa akin in 1 month. And
Wow.
you just have to be willing. It's part humility. It's part being realistic, and you have to think outside of the box ng konti, and to parang get out of your comfort zone. Yun yung
Very nice.
how you can stand out and survive.
Ayan, Ari, sabi mo kanina, excited ka manood ng YouTube live na to dahil marami kang mapupulot. Eto na, binuhos para sa'yo. Pero para mapuntahan natin yung iba pang mga questions, I'll ask. There's a question here from Gemma Velasquez Akiba. I know her from church. And I think Fritz can answer and Rose because they're both investment experts also. Nagsabi po na hindi lang pang mayaman ang pag-invest. Saan po ba magandang mag-invest sa panahon ngayon? I think Fritz answered this partly during his interview kanina, but are there other kinds of investments that people can go into at this point na hindi pang mayaman? Oh, challenge.
Okay, I'll take it first. Rose, is that okay?
Sige, ladies first.
Sige, ako na. Oh, ikaw na. Sige na nga.
Ay, magkakaibigan po kasi talaga sila.
I know Fritz very well. That's why I'm like that.
Yes, I know.
Aside from local equities, I'd like to also put the focus on offshore equities, no? Because napakababa ng interest rates globally, no? And central banks are continuously keeping it low. Global equities have done very well, no? So in the Philippine context, what we call global feeder funds are also now available, no, at BDO for as low as $500. And I'd like to show, direct, if I may, no, 3 global funds that I want you to look at, no. The first is Global Equity Index Fund. It's already diversified across the developed market space. So the US, Europe, nandyan na yan. The second would be the Global Emerging Market Index Fund. And the third would be the China Fund. When you look at this first fund, Salve, Global Equity Index Fund, all these 3 funds are managed directly by BlackRock. If
Wow.
BDO is the largest private fund manager in the world, managing 1 trillion pesos in assets under management, BlackRock manages $8 trillion in assets under management. Why do I call on Filipinos to look at offshore investing? Why? Because when you look at the pie chart, the 4 themes, no? Technology or information technology, healthcare, consumer discretionary, and the digital economy or fintechs are all not present in the Philippine stock market. No? When you look at the top 10 holdings of this fund on the right, these are all very familiar household names already. No? Alam na natin yan. And the performance is quite good. It did 20% in 2020. Less the 5.5% appreciation of the peso, it's still positive. Year to date, in peso returns, it's up 15%. No? The second fund, the Emerging Market Fund, ganon rin. It did very well in 2020. It was up 17.7%. Year to date, it's up also 31.5%. So it's up 26% even if you remove the 5.5% appreciation of the peso. And the China Fund, it's up already 78% in US dollar terms since 2019.
Pero
No?
Fritz, is this accessible even to those who have, kunwari nagsisimula pa lang sila or maliit pa lang ang capital? How much do you need to invest?
For only $500, you can buy this. No? And
Ayan.
if you do the easy investment plan, no, wherein every month magpapadeduct ka in your savings account and you invest here, that's $200 a month. No? So it's very doable.
Fritz, mas mahal pa yung bagong iPhone, ano?
Definitely. The consumer items that we love to buy, from iPhones to iPads to PCs to your huge 50 or 60-inch flat screen,
Television.
mag-invest ka na lang, di ba?
Oo nga. Parang naalala ko kung kaninong time sa BDO yung easy investment plan na yan. Parang naalala ko
Siyempre,
yan. Rose? Parang naalala ko
tuloy-tuloy lang
dapat.
yan.
Yeah, I used to call that. I actually used to call it the honey fund.
Parang sounds... Okay. Hindi ko na itutuloy.
So the viewers who don't know, my husband Marvin
Yes.
used to be the Chief Investment Officer of BDO. And then ngayon, si Fritz na. And Marvin and Fritz were working together even prior to that at City Trust, no? Fritz, tama ba?
He was the one who hired me when I was a mere trainee.
Yung,
Ah,
di ba? Back in the day, mga may shoulder
Back in
pad.
the day.
shoulder pads pa tayo nun. Hala,
Ano na
parang
lang yan?
Melissa, naalala ko yung mga shoulder pads na yan. Ang shoulder pads ni Rose Fausto, maraming pera yung laman. Rose, this is our last 10 minutes. So, Rose, baka meron kang thoughts on recommendations on investment opportunities even for those who are, kunwari, new grads or nagsisimula na mag-ipon, new parents, people who are listening into the YouTube channel and realizing na, wait, pwede ako mag-invest kung 1,000 per 1,000 per payday lang ang pera ko.
Oo. So siguro it's always nice to know what you are investing for. Di ba? Lagi nating sinasabi yon, di ba? Kasi naman, baka mamaya, yung kahit pangangailangan mo, pang next year niya, huwag ka na mag-stock market. But we should always remember that our dreams always have financial components. So we have to have different baskets. Kung meron ka short term, medium term, long term. Basta long term, ako pa rin, stocks pa rin because it's the asset class that gives the highest return in the long run. And I also subscribe to what Fritz said, the easy investment plan. Kung sa BDO, easy investment program naman sa COL. Para basta just to protect yourself from yourself again so that you will not be affected anymore emotionally.
Yeah.
When the market is up, doon kasi excited lahat mag-invest. When the market is down, doon naman nagbebenta. When the market is down, nagbebenta kasi nagpapanik. But if you do it automatically, then magiging okay na. And as low as 1,000.
Pikit na lang, ganon. Pikit na lang. Pag medyo kinakabahan, pikit na lang.
Pag naka-automate na yan, tatamarin ka naman na pakialaman na yan eh. And that is a default bias which you can use in your favor.
I think that also worked for Mel when she was starting. Tama di ba, Mel? Yung ino-automate. Kasi
Yeah.
lagi nating sinasabi, pag tama ka tinatamad. Anything, Mel?
Oo. Sa akin naman, kasi dito sa Canada talagang heavy sila sa investing. We have something called the Registered Retirement Savings Plan. So pag nag-invest ka there, yung government, bibigyan ka ng 40% back. April 1.
Oh, wow.
Nag-invest ka ng $1,000, babalik sa'yo, $8,000. So alam mo yun?
Sana all.
Ha? 100
Sana all.
Pero yeah, I do that here. Nag-automate rin ako. Yung meron si Dan, Vicky, meron yung mga kids. Kakalimutan ko na, nandun lang siya, $100 per month. And then before you know it, it's a huge amount. And it's, kasi you get it, dito kasi, sa amin, you get it when you're 65 or older para lower yung tax bracket, para 0% yung capital gains. So, pero yeah, you're investing in your future. Walang talo. Ako, I used to do blue chip dyan sa Philippines. Okay palagi.
Okay pa yan. Okay, guys, I am sorry.
I have a question. Pwede ba ako magtanong? Yung sa inyo, sabi mo, the one with the counterpart funding from the government, is that default? What is the default option for you there?
Ano siya? It's a program by the government so that para when you're 65, you have a nest egg, hindi ka magre-rely sa kanila. So medyo
it was the option something that you actively took, or was the option investing na for you unless you unenroll yourself? How was it? Naka-default?
Yeah, it's something that you actively take. It's something that diba, wala.
Kailangan
Maraming wasted counterpart funding yung government for those who don't check the box.
Exactly.
Tama.
Calling the default bias can work in our favor or the other way around, depending kung ano yung default option na yun.
Definitely.
Alright. So guys, maraming salamat. Alam ko nabibitin kayo. Ako din nabibitin. Pero lagpas na po ako sa aking airtime. So thank you so much to all my guests. Before you go, magpapasalamat lang po ako. Ishingel, you're in Japan ba? Maraming salamat po sa pag-attend. Meron po tayong Imelda Hayakawa, thank you. Bernice D, if you're still here, yes, the Wi-Fi gods are in our favor. Dahil kahapon nahirapan po tayo. Siguro kasi converge yung topic, yung hotspot ni Fritz. Maraming salamat. Thank you, Marioness Ella. I hope lahat kayong nakinig today were inspired, informed, and transformed. Pinapa-extend na po ako. Baka
Extend
pagalitan
out,
na po ako. Yeah, oo nga eh. Kaya lang, medyo nag-extend na po tayo from 8:30 to 8:49. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nakinig. Tune in po tayo ulit next weekend, 8 o'clock. Lagi na po itong Saturday, 8 o'clock. We'll be here to provide you with information that you need to change your life. Yun nga, sabi ni Rose, hindi lang dapat information. Kailangan alam natin how to use that information by understanding how our brains work. Aisha! Oh my gosh, si Aisha, taga-Amerika, wala, nagkichika lang kami yun sa Facebook, pero dumaan kami sa mga mahirap na parts ng buhay namin and we were there for each other. So thank you. Fritz, ganito na ang television. Di ba, Rose?
Interactive. May kwentuhan.
Yes, may kwentuhan.
May sabay, iba-ibang nakikita mo lahat. Galing mo Parang
yes. Nakakataranta. Dahil natuto na ako, girl. Kasi kailangan meron actually ako mga 8 mata. Ganon. Para sabay-sabay. So thank you, everyone. Happy Chinese New Year and happy Valentine's. We'll say goodbye for now, but we'll see you again next week, 8 p.m. on Saturday. Bye!
Bye!
Ganon.